Hey guys, GoBlue117, and I'm back for chapter 20 of Fire Emblem 7. So in the last chapter we did a whole lot. We took down Lord Darren, who is Marcus Laus, one of the main villains of the game. And we actually were able to get to the Dragon's Gate and almost witnessed dragons being called back to a world, which would have been pretty bad. But we were able to stop that because Niles got in the way. But we also found Eliwood's father, Marcus Ferre, and he ended up dying there. So now we're heading back to the mainland. Hopefully we get a little bit of a break from the Black Fang while Nurgle tries to heal himself from the wound that Marcus Ferre gave him. And so they're actually going to mention here something called quintessence, or maybe it's quintessence, but I'm going to call it quintessence for now. But it's actually what the term the game uses for the energy of life within humans, and that's what Nurgle is looking to collect. By killing people, he can actually collect their quintessence, and that's why I wanted to start the war, and probably why one of the reasons he's taking control of the Black Fang, because obviously they kill people. Although before it was actually for a little bit better reason. Now he's got him doing it to anybody, no matter what. So seems like that's what he's been after for a while. This is actually the second time I'm trying to record this. The first time, just like about a half an hour ago, I was recording this, and about half an hour in, I decided to split the videos, and looked down at my sound capture device, realized I had not hit the record button. I had started to record the video, and I had forgotten to hit the record button on the sound, so I had no sound, so I'm redoing it now. So this is kind of annoying, because I was hoping I'd be pretty close to being done, probably around 15 more minutes. After this, I would be done with this chapter. But I guess not. So I'm gonna try this again. I'll probably make this video shorter this time, around probably closer to 25 minutes instead of 30, because I was pretty far in 30 minutes. I remember this chapter being a little bit longer than actually was. But I can, this way, because there's not a whole lot going on as well, I can kind of talk about some other stuff. And I can actually hopefully show off the arena, because there's an arena here. So I can show that off, probably with Oswin, just because he can take a few hits and hopefully win me some gold. And if you lose, you can only bet up to, I think it's like 1,000 is the top you can do. But I'm not positive on that. I think it's anywhere between 500 to 1,000. And then as the amount of gold you wager increases, so does the difficulty. So like, if you accept like a 900 gold fight, you'll probably be going up against a unit that's pretty close to classing up. And I'm not positive about this, but I'm pretty sure, because I don't use the arenas that often, so again, I can't say this for sure, but I assume that the difficulty of the arenas goes up. Like, there's the arena in Chapter 16 side quest, and the arenas after this. Like, there's one in Chapter 29 side quest, I think it is. I think that's right. In Chapter 29 side quest. So I assume between the Chapter 26 and the 16 and 29 ones, I assume like an 800 gold wager would give you a harder fight against like a very good promoted unit in like Chapter 29, like maybe a level 15 paladin, something like that. Whereas maybe in Chapter 16 it would have been like a level 18 sword, or not sword master, but like a myrmidon, so a lower class unit but also high level. So I would think that would be how it works. I mean, because otherwise that would be kind of cheap, because I don't know how many of your units would be able to fight off like a really high second class unit back in Chapter 16. I mean, I don't think any of mine could have, except maybe Marcus, but Marcus would probably have to get a good matchup and have it be against somebody he can, who's not going to do a lot of damage. It's like if he had a lance, then going up against like a Myrmidon with an iron sword. I mean, or a sword master with an iron sword. But even then you have to deal with the criticals. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So that's something I would assume about the arena. Just showing off the battle preparation screen. I'm not bringing Hector or Lynn because I cannot promote them at this time. We're going to have to actually wait a while. I think it's Chapter 24 is the first time we get a promotion item for one of our lords that you can use. So if you get like Hector up to level 20, which is pretty easy to do because he's so good, I've done it before, where I've gotten him up to level 20 really early, and then just not been able to promote him for a really long time. And then you bring him to like a chapter, maybe like 19 if he was already promoted, where you have to bring him, and then he just takes away experience and just wastes it because he's not even getting anything. I mean, it's worse than bringing Marcus, because Marcus at least gains something. So a lot of villages here. We got 2 armories, 2 vendors. I assume one of the vendors is going to have like antitoxin, vulnerary, stuff like that. And then one of them will have stabs, like heal and maybe, I doubt there'd be anything else besides a healer and staff at this point, but maybe, who knows. 2 armories, probably one will be, either one of them will be like a sword lance one, and the other one will be like an axe bow one. Or one of them will be like a weak weapon one, like iron, and then like hand axe and javelin, and the other one will be like steel weapons. Anyway, before we start the chapter, we're actually going to get one more unit here. In a second, we're actually going to get Ninian for the first time. And it's been mentioned multiple times before, but Ninian is a class dancer. But pretty much treat her just as you would Niles. They're completely interchangeable units. So they work in the same way. I mean, they're normal, not really attack, but move. Yeah, their normal move, I guess you'd say, would be to give allies another turn. And then, if you actually did the Chapter 7 side quest, I believe it's only if you did the Chapter 7 side quest, but I'm not positive about that. Remember in the Chapter 7 side quest, we got Ninian's bracelet back and Nini's Grace. And it seems at least if you did that side quest, you're going to get Nini's Grace here, which is actually a bracelet that Ninian can use. And this one actually boosts, I believe it's your defense. Although it may be defense and resistance, so I'm not positive. I believe the info type thing on it just says it boosts defenses, but that could just mean defense and resistance, because resistance is just magical defense, so. But that just stays, I believe, for just one turn. Yeah, it just says increases defenses, though. So it could very well be resistance as well. But since it's on Eliwood, it's going to be probably hard to tell, because he has decent resistance. Now, if it was like Oswin or Sane or Lyn, then it'd be a little bit easier to tell, because I could just go up to one of those light magic users. Anyway, here in this village, we're going to get a staff. It is a restore staff, and pretty much it'll cure you from any type of status ailment. So that includes poison, which we'll see. Here there are going to be poison lances and maybe even poison axe or two. So yeah, it can cure you from that. It can also cure you from sleep and berserk, other stuff like that we'll see later on. I think we actually have, we have a sleep staff already in our possession, but there will be chapters where the enemy actually is a sleep staff, and then we'll see a berserk staff eventually, which is pretty interesting. If you actually hit with it. But a lot of these special weapons don't have a high percent chance of hitting, because you need a, is it like a magic power above the enemy? Or it's either a magic power above the enemy or a magic power above resistance. So like right now, when Priscilla and Sarah, unless you've been really leveling them up by pretty much just spamming like the stabs as often as possible, they're probably not going to have a high magic amount. And from what I've seen so far, and what I've seen in all games, I don't usually level up that well, they don't have particularly good magic growths. I mean, some of them, I think Priscilla's a decent one, but it's not spectacular, so. And I'm just gonna, I forgot to do this at the beginning, I'm gonna use Oswin just as a shield for now, because he can help me see through the darkness, because he's a bit over-leveled at this point. So I don't want to get any kills with him, so I'm just going to have him walk out in front, because he has plenty of defense to survive. And all the magic users don't have tough enough spells to really do critical damage to him. Because I think most of them either have lightning or shine. I think we actually get a shine tome for Lucius in this chapter. But yeah, I'm just going to use Oswin to help see through the darkness, because that can be a bit of an issue. I think there's a torch, though, that we can also get eventually. Guy, you kind of go over there. Don't want the javelin equipped. Yeah, I'll just get rid of the Slim Lance and then have the Steel Lance behind that, so you can get attacked twice. Go ahead and use Lucius to go grab the village down there. Priscilla, you stay up there just in case there's an enemy. Because you can also get the restore staff from Sane. Because Priscilla actually already has a B for staves. So she can use a lot. I think any staff that we would actually have at this point. And she can even use the all-powerful hammering staff, although we won't see that for a little while. And steel sword. Okay, so just a couple cavaliers it seems for now. Oh, and you. Okay. I didn't remember you being there. Okay, well, whatever. More experience. Go ahead and use Guy. Just because Guy is awesome. But also needs the experience. And we'll go ahead, go to this village. I don't think this has anything really good. Oh, is this? Yeah, this is a light rune. Light rune, may have explained it before because I think Wrath may have had it first time we got him. I'm almost positive he does when we get him again. I am about 99.9% sure that when you actually, if you recruit him a little bit later, like in 1 or 2 chapters. No, it would be next chapter that we get Wrath. Yeah, I think it would have to be next chapter that we got Wrath. Yeah. But next chapter, he'll actually have a, light rune. So, hopefully, I don't think I've explained it, though. Because I'm not sure if I've actually gotten one. But anyway, you put it on a space, and it blocks all movement by both you and your enemy. So they can't step on that space, so like a narrow path, like in the town here. Especially at the Port of Badon chapter for chapter 16 side quests. These could kind of be helpful. I don't really have a great use for it because I like using a retreat strategy myself. But being able to like stop them all the units, especially if they can't attack more than one space, you can just pick them off. But eventually, I think they do get smart, and if there's like another path to go around, then they actually will start backing up and going around. So I think more of the use for it is to like just block movement along that path. Like if there's a path that you really don't have a unit to that you want to just leave there to kind of block it off, and you'd rather force the enemy units around another way, that's, I would think, would be the better purpose. Up here, I think we're actually going to see some wyverns, so be a little careful about that. Don't send Guy over there, because Guy probably wouldn't do well against wyverns. I'm going to use Ninian on one unit and Priscilla on another. Just trying to decide which one to use on which. I'll go ahead and heal Florina, and then Eliwood can get another kill. Okay. Go ahead and that rapier can kill you. I guess I'll save the rapier for later, though. I'm going to probably start using the rapier pretty soon, because we are going to get another one, and there are better swords. Like, the rapier would be a sword that I'd only bring if I had uses left on it, but I'm not probably going to purposely save it much longer, and purposely try and save it for the final chapter, because, in my opinion, there are not only some swords that are better, but a good amount of swords that are better for Eliwood to use. Because, like, for Lynn, her special weapon is Manikati. That's a really good weapon. Really good sword, good critical rate, good against cavalry. which can make up against like Cavaliers and Paladins, or Wyvern, or not Wyvern units, but Cavaliers and Paladins that have lances, and so she's at a disadvantage on the weapon triangle. Then she can deal out a ton of damage to them. So it can make, that's a really good weapon for her. And then the Wolf Bale for Hector is also really good, as you've seen when I've used that. Because that's actually pretty low on uses, but I used it kind of more in the beginning. Especially in that first chapter when I was just trying to get him hitting the experience so Oswin wouldn't take it off in chapter 12. And it was worth it. I can always use the hammer and stab him if I really feel that Killer Axe or Silver Axe is not going to suffice. But definitely, I'm not going to worry about the rapier. And certainly remember that you are going to have another one, so there really is not a whole lot of reason to save the first one you get for the final chapter. Because you're not going to need 2 full rapiers, because each of them have about 40 uses. It's like 40 or 45 uses, so. One more Wyvern Rider. Just going to show that off. They are weak against magic and bows. I do know that in later games, there's like Pegasus Knights and I think Wyverns as well are especially weak against thunder and maybe wind. But I don't think in this one like they're especially susceptible to animal. I think they're just kind of weak to magic in general. But I could be wrong again. Yeah, I'm just using a rapier here because I don't like that poison lance. And it worked out very nicely because Eliwood did not get poisoned. And I'll go ahead and use Minion on Eliwood just to get him. I'll probably just move him farther back. Either farther back, I don't know. So he's still at 19 HP. I'm not thrilled about that. So unless I heal him, if I heal him, I'd be risking Priscilla, but I'm thinking if I put Eliwood right in front of Priscilla, unless there's a Wyvern Rider. If there's a Wyvern Rider, they probably won't reach Priscilla, and they'd have a pretty low chance of hitting, and they certainly wouldn't double. So I hopefully be able to survive. So I went ahead and risked that. And there's a Shine. Go ahead and, I guess I'll just give that to Merlinus. So, good light magic, or at least some decent light magic. I mean, it's the D light magic, so it's not, it's not Aurora by any means. And Aurora is just the S ranked light magic, which is, it's the best light tome you can have. It seems that the enemy has found the ballista up there, so you can't actually see the ballista, which is weird. Like, you can see that one, but I think once the enemy actually gets in it, the ballista disappears. So now it's somewhere up in that kind of top right corner of the little village type square, the little village square place. Anyway, Oswin just got poisoned. I'm probably either gonna, well, right now he's carrying Priscilla, so I can't restore him right now. Anything? No, I don't want anything out of here. So let's go this way. You go there. Eliwood, you are not gonna get killed by this guy. Yeah. And you're gonna level up pretty soon, which is pretty cool. You drop the soul back there. Gonna hope that Eliwood will be okay. And actually, this way, I can actually restore him. Because he has enough health that I don't have to worry about healing him. He hasn't lost that much health.